Good morning to all. So now we are going to see the for course delivery for the subject how to prepare for NBA. So the course content will be mission of the institution, mission of the department, programmal educational objective, programmal outcomes and specific outcomes, syllabus and course outcome PO and PSO mapping and targets and other levels, mapping between course outcomes and program outcomes, and course timetable and list of students, course handout, course committee meeting minutes, instructional materials and question bank, and how the formative assessment has to be carried out as far as the 21 regulation is concerned, and lifelong learning and other assessments, and course exit survey and assessment of CO and PSOs, and innovative teaching learning process, and content beyond the syllabus, and counseling for the poor students and low attendance, and remedial classes for slow learners, and feedback from the students. So this is the first page. We have to keep it in the course file. So each one we will see what is the model content for it. So if you look at the vision and mission of the statement, so you have to give the vision of the institute and mission of the statement as the second page, as it is given here, and vision of the department. So you have to mention the vision of the department and mission of the our department. Okay, should be a second page, and third page should be programmable educational objective. So for mechanical engineering, BTech mechanical engineering, we have 4 programmable educational objective that should be listed as a fourth page, and program outcomes. So program outcomes, we have to listed out the 12 program outcomes and corresponding to our PSO of our department, BTech mechanical engineering, not our department, BTech mechanical engineering course. What is the PSO and PSO? This page has to be keep it. And the next one, so if you look at the, so in the list, so syllabus of the course outcome and PO and PSO, so whatever the corresponding syllabus has to be kept it. Okay. Then mapping between program outcome and sixth one. So we'll close it one by one. So what is the program outcome and corresponding PO and CO, program specific outcome, and what is the justification, how the CO is related to corresponding PO and PSO, and with the justification what content while we are teaching the corresponding syllabus, we are satisfying the PO requirement as well as how we are satisfying the CO requirement. Okay, what content that has to be filled up here as a mapping between course outcome and program outcome, and course timetable and other things. So whatever the course timetable for the particular course, we have to keep it here, and course handout. So the course handout for the particular subject, the model is given by the higher officials, that should be filled here and keep it here. This is the model which we got it. So corresponding one has to be filled and keep it here. And so if you look at the one, let me see it. Course handout and the course committee meeting minutes. So we are conducting a course committee meeting minutes regularly. So that meeting minutes has to be keep it here. And the instructional material developed. So the instructional material, whatever the instructional material we are using it, video lecture, PowerPoint and handout and video lectures and other things, that has to be given in the 10th one. And question bank for part A, part B and part C. So whatever it is applicable, you have to keep it here. And evaluation procedure, formality assessment 1. So we have to keep question paper, evaluation key and sample answer script, 6 answer script. Okay. But we have to evaluate for all students. Okay. And mark sheet for TLP 5 and correspondingly for formality assessment 2, 3 and 4, and lifelong learning, whatever activity we are doing as a lifelong learning, that has to be recorded properly. If you are not conducting any question paper and other things, whatever you are doing, that has to be recorded properly. And end semester examination, the question paper and evaluation key has to be given. So now, and course exit survey, after completing this, you have to get the course exit survey on course outcome, that has to be minuted. And assessment of course outcome 14 points, see it in detail. So if you look at that, we have put the summary sheet. So the first sheet, it is getting the course outcome, course outcode, and what is the title of the course, and which academic year it is offered. And as a summary, we are getting a direct internal assessment, that is the with a theory lifelong from formative assessment to lifelong learning. Whatever we are doing, it is a direct assessment, and end semester we are doing it, that is a end semester 1. Indirect, we are getting the feedback from the students for the course outcome. So these three must be clubbed together to get the final attainment. So this graph, it shows that for each CO, how the direct internal, direct end semester, and indirect and final attainment level is mapped for the level of the course attainment, course outcome. And course outcome, the target level for which we are having is 60%. So each CO has to be attained 60%. So multiplying 3 with the 60, it is 1.8. So we are getting all the course outcome is same, and whatever the attained value here, that has to be put it here, and corresponding plot has to be made it here. Okay. Then target level for PO, we are having 80% of the PAM matrix, the target level. That value has to be minuted here, and the attained value has to be minuted. So by this graph, it shows that all the PO and PSO, so whatever it is applicable, you have to draw it. Now we will see one by one how, and this is the summary sheet. After doing all the calculation, we have to put it as a summary sheet as a front sheet. So that is given as a 14.1. Okay, 14.1 is nothing but a summary sheet, and remaining 14.2 you can keep it calculation sheet, each everyone step by step. So if you look at the calculation sheet, we have formative assessment 1. So you can have a quiz program or whatever the program way you conducted. So whatever the mark assigned for each CO, and marks scored by a student. Okay, and we have taken a 60% as attainment level. In college level 50% only. We want to improve the teaching learning activity, so it is a 60%. So if you look at the 60%, so whatever the say 5 means 5 into 0.6, it is 3. Okay, so 3, so greater than 3, so 4 is a greater than 3, so then it is YS. So if you know the formula, you can put the formula method, and you can see the formula method is given here. You can follow it up, or manually also you can calculate it. Now after calculating for all the students, so you have to count how many yes and how many attainment percentage. By the total number of students, it must be divided, and find out the attainment level. By looking at the table, see 76 by is the 3. So by looking at the table, we have to put it the attainment level. So here it is a 98. So we are putting as a 3. And formative assessment 2. So for formative assessment 2, we for as far as this subject is concerned, CO1, we have conducted a theory examination at that time. That is a question paper model, not with a quiz model. So whatever the question paper model, I have kept it here. So if you look at the question paper model, so corresponding marks and Bloom's level and CO, PO and PI code is available. So you can look at here. So while you are calculating this PO and CO, that has to be matched. Okay. So that is the one. So the same one has to be minuted. So how many students are getting the, because being a CO1 is common for all subject, all that unit, that formative assessment 2. So whatever the marks scored by the student 17, and to check whether it is a 60% or not, and it is we have to give yes or no 1. So if you look at the 25 per 60, it is 15. So greater than 15, it is 17. So it is given as Y. Okay, yes. Otherwise it is no. Now if you look at here, 12.5, it is less than 15, so it is no. So similarly, this is nothing but the TLP5, what we are following, it is a 50% mark. So whatever the value we are getting 50%, has to be given yes or no. So as far as the NBA assessment, this is the very evaluation, this attainment is very, very important. So we have to calculate the number of yes, number of y, like previous case. And now if you look at the percentage, so it is coming around 82.54, that is a 76.3. So the attainment level is 3. Okay. So similarly, we have to calculate for FT3. So FT3, if you look at the question paper, it is given as 2 question papers. So CO2 and CO3. So CO2 and CO3, it is mapped for that particular test. So you can look at CO4 also it is mapped. So corresponding whatever the CO it is mapped, you have to put it. Now if you look at here, the analysis is done for CO2, CO3, CO4. So corresponding to the question, which CO is the particular student is answered, that has to be obtained here. And sum up of CO2, whatever the CO2. So as far as here, this CO2, so total mark is 4. And CO2 here total mark is 8. So 4 plus 8, 12. And CO2 12 plus 16, it is 26, 28. Okay. So that mark is assigned mark, and whatever the marks corresponding to the CO that has to be minuted here. And similarly, like previous one, 60% of that 28, we have to check if it is attained, it is yes. Similarly, we have to calculate for CO3 and CO4. And finally, then this is the overall like our TLP assignment, okay, for 50% attainment. Now we have to calculate total number of yes and y. Total number of yes who is attained. Yes means attained. Total number of yes student, and CO2 how many students are attained, like that CO2, CO3 and CO4 we should calculate. And correspondingly, like a previous case, the attainment level we have to check it. So if you look at the attainment 76 to 100, it is 3. So similarly we have to 76 3, and 61 is 2. See, if you look at the 60 to 65, it is 2. So it is mapped as a 65 60 is 2, and 50 to 55 is 1. So if you look at here, map is 50 to 59, it is 1. So that has to be minuted here properly. So that okay. And FT4, so whatever the way you calculated the FT4, so we conducted the programming and other things, and we conducted the MCQ type also. So that is the program is covers with all the CO. So we have taken as all the CO, how it is mapped. So corresponding PO and CO value, and total CO is taken as fully 1. If you have splitted in individual method, you have to do it in an individual one like a previous case, and calculate the yes for 60% of attainment, and calculated the yes for how many students attain the yes, and how many students percentage of attainment, and you got to put the based upon the level 76 to 100, it is 3. And lifelong learning, we know that lifelong learning can be done with the assignment or project work or mini project or anything. So whatever the way you calculated the assignment and which CO it is particularly pertaining to it, corresponding CO has to be put it here. And 60% attainment, that has to be given as yes and no. And this is for TLP5. And similarly, we have to calculate the yes, how many students are attained yes, and CO and CO5. And after that, this has to be clubbed everything. So if you look at the FT1 it is CO1. So direct internal FT1 for each CO1, it is let me make it a small one. CO1 3, and CO2 FT2 is concerning with another CO1 only. So CO1, and FT3 is concerning CO2, CO3, CO4. So CO2, CO3 and CO4, whatever the attainment level it is there available, I have put it here 3, 2, 1. The same way I have put it 3, 2, 1. And FT4, if you look at the FT4, it is common for all the all 5 COs. So I have put all the 5 COs as a common one. And lifelong learning, if you look at the lifelong learning, it is a CO5. So I have put the CO5 as a here. So then we should take an average out of it. You can look at the average out of these values, all the COs, so that we will get the direct internal CO value. Okay. Then we have to calculate the N semester. N semester we are getting a grade 1. So corresponding by looking at the lookup table. So the lookup table is given here. Whatever the grade we are getting it, what is the corresponding mark? So it should be converted into a corresponding mark. Say if it is a plus means A plus 94. So we got to put 94. Like then university examination, it is having a 40% weightage, not 100%. So out from 94, it should be multiplied by 0.4 to get the university examination mark, because it consists of internal and external. So we are eliminating that 40% only. So 40% mark we are taking it out. and we are not aware of it which CO he is answered it. So we are taken the equally split up with the CO1 to CO5. Whatever the mark 37 point, it is split into equally. Then the attainment level is calculated for the 60%. Okay. And similarly, we are calculating the how many COs for each COs, and how many students attain the CO, and how many students percentage of CO and attainment level. That has to be minuted. Then we have to calculate the from the students we have to get the opinion whether he understood each CO. That has to be minuted here properly. And from the response of the students, strongly agree, agree, no opinion, total number of responses we got to calculate. From that, it should be converted into total number of students, total number of agree divided by total number of responses. We'll be getting this, and the weightage scale is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From that, we have to calculate the percentage of attainment. Then we have to calculate the, by looking at the lookup table, we have to calculate the three. If you look at it, it's almost everything is 84 and 83. So it is a range between the 76 to 100. So it is 3. And so this is the 3. Now we will see the next sheet. So after calculating everything, now we calculated the direct internal and direct end semester result and indirect assessment. All three has to be clubbed together, and the final attainment has to be get. So if you look at here, direct internal has to be taken as a 60%, and direct end semester is taken as 40%. So these two consider as a 100. Direct indirect separately we are calculating, it's nothing to do with the calculation, it is 20. While calculating a final attainment, this 40 has to be clubbed, 60 and 40 has to be clubbed as 80, and remaining 20. So this should be 100. So out of 60, what is the percentage of 80 is 0.48, and what is the percentage of 40 is 0.32. So that weightage only we have to calculate. By calculating this, 0.48 multiply with 3 and 0.3 into 0.32 plus E2 into this indirect into 0.2. So that is the way you have to calculate the final attainment. Then this PAM matrix, program articulation matrix, which is given in a syllabus, whatever the way is given, it has to be filled up here, and the average of this column is given here. Okay, the average of this column is given here. And now to get the attainment level for a PO attainment level, we got to multiply this final attainment to here divided by the average. So if you look at here, so you can see that 3 into 1 divided by 3, because we want to attain the maximum level of 3. So 3 has to be put it divided by 3. So like that, each one you always divided by 3. So using this formula, you have to put it. Okay, and find out the average of this value. Find out the average of this value. So for like that, we have to calculate for each PO and PSO. Then it has to be minuted here. So now the target value, it is this whatever the PO attainment, which is a syllabus is 1.5. Supposed to a student has to get it for this subject, but he got the value of 1.46. Okay, so this is a, but we are putting a target for PAM because it is not possible to get 1.5 out of 1.5, because he has to get all the mark as a 100 out of 100 in all assessment. That is not a practical one. So we have optimized into 80%. 80 means 1.5 into 8. 1.5 into 8. So that is 1.2. Similarly, for PSO, this is 2 into 1.8. So that is 2 into 0.8, 1.6. Like then whatever the PSO value we got it from here, this value it is mapped to here. So now the recommendation has to be given by the faculty. What is the plus and minus of the subject? Who are handling the future for one, that minute has to be given. What recommendation can be given the future faculty? So this procedure has to be continued for all the years. While you are before handling the class, whatever the recommendations given with the previous one, it has to be recorded here. It should be converted here, and what your recommendation should be given here to give the for future faculty. And whatever the input to the BOS and other syllabus, we have to give it here. So whatever this value only we are recording into the first sheet as a summary sheet. Whatever I told, whatever the calculation which we have seen it now, that is only recorded here. That is for course outcome, attainment level, target level, and attainment level of PO and CO. So that is given in the pictorial view, graphical view. Now, if you look at so these two are over. So innovative teaching practice, whatever the way you have taken the innovative teaching practices, that has to be minuted in a proper way. So innovative teaching practices, so it and you have to prove you have to give a document evidence how the innovative teaching practices carried out in your class. And the next one, content beyond syllabus. Apart from the syllabus one, what is the content beyond syllabus you have taken it? So you can give us a seminar, whether you have given the seminar out of the one, and industry visit if you have arranged, workshop you have arranged, hackathon, project like that. So yeah, above from this, anything can be given, even if you are teaching the subject advanced in some specific topic, and if it is minuted properly, that can also be given. So out of the syllabus, okay. And next one, counseling for the previous poor students and low attendance. So counseling for the previous low attendance has to be given. The counseling report has to be given, and that has to be minuted properly. And the next one, remedial class for slow learners. So circular and timetable and remedial class attendance and impact for the proof for attachment. So like this, remedial class circular has to be given. So the content sheet, and remedials for circular, the model circular is given. It should be signed by which year and which date, month, and everything, and it should be signed by the professor in charge. Circular, it's a remedial class circular is so remedial class. Okay, this is a timetable one. It is given here as a sample copy, and the circular one it is given here. Yeah, circular one is given here. Which time, which factor, what is the details, and who is handling and other thing. Okay, circular one is given here. So and then we have to give the particular impact analysis, how whether it is improved or not. So that has to be given as a what is the register number when we conducted the remedial classes, whether it is improved or not. What is the improvement in the one? So that has to be written here in the improvement analysis. So okay, then feedback, the students about the faculty. So we are college is getting the feedback from the faculty, that has to be given as a 19.1. And finally course handling by the 19.2, course assessment by the faculty, PO PAM matrix. This is the final one which is given in the sheet, consolidated sheet, that has to be given as a here. So like that, we have to prepare the course file for our NBA visit. So it's covering the all the content which is required for the NBA visit. Thank you.